Hi friends, Mrs. Hanson here. Today we are going to be learning about reflective symmetry. Reflective symmetry happens when you split something in half and one side reflects the other side. So it's kind of like our face. If we take our face and we draw a line down the middle, one side of our face looks like the other side of our face. It's also known as line of symmetry. So today we are going to be making reflective symmetry puzzles. You are going to need a pencil, a piece of paper, and a pair of scissors. What we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of paper and we are going to fold it in half, very carefully lining up our corners and giving it a nice crease. Then we're going to take our piece of paper and we are going to draw some shapes on it. I'm going to start by drawing a circle. Maybe half of a diamond. A square. And if you need some help, in class I have some helper pieces. But if you're at home, you could also ask a parent or a sibling to help you draw a shape ahead of time and cut it out, and you can use it to trace. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that all of your shapes are big enough. We don't want to draw our shapes so small that they're hard to cut out. And trust me, your puzzle design will look much better if the pieces are big. Another thing that you could do is take your finger and you could make sure that your shapes are at least as big or bigger than your pinky finger, right? Then you're going to take your paper and you're going to very carefully cut out the shapes. Turning your paper as you cut, cutting along the line. Then you're going to open up your piece of paper and you're going to see reflective symmetry happening. But not for long because we have to cut along the fold. So we have two separate pieces of paper. Now, one of these papers you are going to call your helper piece. And we're going to put that off to the side. We don't need it quite yet. Then you're going to go back to all of your shapes. You're going to find your folded shape and you're going to cut that in half. Then what you're going to do is you're going to match up all your shapes just like you would if you were playing a memory game. And you're going to take your shapes and you're going to put an X on one half of each shape. And you're going to take those shapes and you're going to put them off to the side because we don't need them. So you can recycle them. And you should be left with 4 shapes in your puzzle piece. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your shapes and you're going to try to match them inside of each puzzle piece. And you have to go slow and take your time because you'll notice that sometimes the shape doesn't match up. And you have to turn it. And you have to go slow and figure out where the match is. And once you've done that, and you have all of your puzzle pieces tucked into place, then you're going to take one at a time. You're going to lift them up and you're going to turn them over like a page in a book. And remember, we're turning this way like a page in a book. Everything is going to the right. And it's okay if you have pencil mark. We can erase it later. This is just for practice. You're going to turn it over like the page in a book. Now when you do this, friends, some of you may put your pieces over here. And if you feel a little confused, that's okay, because that's when you can get your helper piece. And you can lay your helper piece down. And you can double check everything. A lot of us are going to need this helper piece. It's a really good way of making sure that you did it right. And then when you lift it up carefully, all of your puzzle pieces will be in the right spot. It's also a good idea to pay attention to your positive and negative space when you're trying to figure out your puzzle. All of this space in here is your negative space, and your objects are your positive space. So it's really important to consider that this space equals this space, right? If we positioned our circle over here, that wouldn't be reflective symmetry. So it's really important that we notice all of these spaces. These are very important spaces in our puzzle. So once you've done that and you've solved your puzzle, then what we're going to do is we're going to make more puzzles. And if you're in class today, you are going to try to solve your classmates' puzzles. And if you are at home, you could have your mom and dad do a puzzle, or your brother and sister, and you could try to solve each other's puzzles.